It was a medium which was interesting me around the time of college, and I was heavily into literature, and I was publishing a lot of short stories, poems, all these kinds of things, and I realized that filmmaking as a medium is something that incorporates a lot more than literature. It contains a lot of literature, but it then translates it into a visual experience. Well, my first film practically was a documentary on another musician called Asghari Bai. She was then 86 years old, and she was living a very, very deprived kind of a life in Madhya Pradesh, a place called Tikamgarh. In spite of being a Padma Shri Award winner and Tansen Samman and Shikha Samman, she was probably the only woman of her time to have explored a genre in Indian classical music like Dhrupad, which is by itself traditionally a very masculine kind of a genre. I mean, today you'll have a lot of women who are also pursuing and learning, but it was practically unheard of in her times, and the way they would learn is nothing compared to how people learn today in terms of its depth and rigor and all that. So it had fascinated me, and with a friend called Preeti Janya, we went and did a documentary on her, fabulously received in festivals. We had no idea till that point of time, which we still don't have much, about how to market a film and things like that, but I guess it did very well wherever it was shown. It went to many festivals, it had independent screenings. Wherever it was shown, it was very, very exciting. After that, somehow it continued. I think I chose R.D. Burman for your generation, practically, because I felt that he is among the 5 or 6 or 8 great composers of Hindi film music that I really admire. Panchamda was very high up somewhere there, and somewhere I realized that everybody talked about him, saying that he's such a great composer and genius, way ahead of his time, and all that stuff. Any gathering, any party that you still go to, it's impossible not to hear, not to listen to Panchamda's songs, remakes or original, almost 50% of the 3-hour duration, or 2-hour or 5-hour duration that you take for any party where loud music goes on. And it was very ironical that 14 years after his death, there was no film made on him which tries to explore his artistry, his loneliness, his everything that made him. And I also thought that in spite of more than 50% of remixes being his songs, which means that the current generation relates a lot with those songs, the credit is slowly shifting to the people who remix it. So Chura Liya Hai Tumne is being announced in many places as the Bali Sangu song. Okay. Some DJ Akil has mixed. I'm not particularly referring to the name. Someone has mixed some particular DJ, very hot, very well known, to whom the youths relate. They immediately think that to be his song. And that I thought was very unjust, because the kind of effort that goes into creating a song is amazing. And his songs in particular, all songs that get created mostly have very, very interesting stories. But a lot of his songs had fascinating stories. And I had been following his songs. I had grown up with his songs. So somewhere it fell in place, and I thought that to do justice, and before people forget him completely, I think if a documentary is done with all the people who worked closely with him and some of the people who admire him to this generation, you'll be able to see what made his music so special, why and how and all that. So it was for me a way of understanding it myself. The journey was a way of understanding his music in an even more intimate way myself. Therefore I believe. Well, when I started making, I had a clarity of vision about what it's going to be like, and I managed to get close to it by about 90%. So the film was what I had conceived. What I had not bargained for and conceived 100% was the way it would be received, because that is in public domain again. You can do your best and then leave it. But thankfully, I think right from the first screening in Los Angeles at Arclight Hollywood, where 70% of people didn't even know him, didn't know about him, and yet 20% of them were great R.D. Burman fans who had come to LA from East Coast and Midwest and even from Dubai, things like that. The film was amazingly received. In the very next week, they had a much smaller screening at Colorado School of Mines in Denver with similar results. Third week, I was back in Bombay, and there was a rural village literally kind of a gathering here with some very great people involved with it. But the atmosphere was very, very rustic. Angan mein baith ke in the courtyard on a television, there was a screen, and again the result was exactly the same. So in 3 weeks, in 3 completely different screenings from large 14 complex theatre, Arclight Hollywood, where some of the finest premieres take place, Hollywood premieres take place, down to the rural heartland of literary gathering, where on a 1-out television set where it didn't have the capacity to even take the 16:9 ratio, the result was the same. So it started looking like, which someone said, and I understood it. It seemed like a screen-independent film. So wherever it gets shown, whatever screen, wherever the result is practically the same. And after some 60 screenings around the world, I can say that that was what the experience was, more or less. I have been present in almost 2/3 of these screenings, and the result has been almost the same. National Award has a significance to me in a very strange way. It's very ironic that Pancham Da did not get a National Award. Okay, and every time his song got an award, it was someone connected with it. Gurdar Sahab, or Asha Bhosle, or Bhupender, or Aarti Mukherjee. They all backed the award. And in fact, there is on record where Gurdar Sahab has said jokingly every time that he Pancham manate the और हम सब मिलकर के उसे खा जाते थे. So it was very ironic that he never got a national award, and the irony continues because again a film made on him has gotten a national award. So I get a national award for making a film on him, but indirectly it feels very good to me, even more than for just for myself. I feel that the award has gone to Pancham Da, in the sense that what I have done is in the most impactful way possible. After the effort of 2.5-3 years of making, I have put across to the people who he was, and well, the jury in many ways must have appreciated it, must have recognized that instantly, and therefore probably the film got an award.